It's been a very long time since I said this, but it's time, finally, I should say, for another classic review. I think it's been about a year since we've done one of these here on the channel. And yeah, basically, I don't know why. I'm not going to tell you why we haven't done one in a while. Doing another classic review, and we're going to go way back to the 1960s. And this is story number 5, The Keys of Marinus. The Keys of Marinus was, of course, written by Terry Nation, who you may know created the Daleks. And this was broadcasted on April 11th and ended on May 16th, 1964. So it starred William Hartnell, William Russell, Jacqueline Hill, and Carol Ann Ford. So, now this is a story. Let me just, I don't know what to do. I'm going to hold it. I guess I'm going to hold it right there. Maybe, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know. I need to get better. I need my crew back. Marinus really shows how great of a writer Terry Nation is. He can write the Dalek story one week, and then he can write something like this. He's an amazing writer. I'll say before starting this review is it was really interesting to watch a story by Terry Nation that wasn't a Dalek story, and you get to see how he writes a sci-fi tale. So it's very cool to, watch something besides a Dalek story from him. Because, he can't just be all about Daleks, right? You gotta write something else, I guess. But this was also very early in the Doctor Who, history. This was only story number 5. So there was a lot of more experimentation going on, in Doctor Who. Historical, sci-fi, it's like, well, what do we do? It's still kind of developing. Or, robot monsters. What's going to happen? But enough babbling. Let me talk a little bit about Keys of Marinus. So basically, the Keys of Marinus' main villain is the Vord. That's how I've always pronounced them. I don't know. That's how I've always pronounced them. Vord. Or the Vord. Now, actually the design of these creatures is amazing. It's actually one of my favorite designs from early Doctor Who, because it actually looks not cheap. If that's a compliment, I don't know. Then again, the creatures in episode 2, on the other hand, are another tale. I will probably post a little picture somewhere in this video showing you what those look like. I called them, I don't know what to describe them, brain creatures with antennas on them? Maybe. That's a great word, right? Brain creatures with antennas on them. I guess we'll go with that. Here on this planet, they meet a mysterious man, I'm going to go with, who is basically the guardian of this kind of device, which can, remove evil from the minds of the entire population. I at least have the back to kind of jog my memory. That is important when you're doing reviews. But of course, the Vord are of course on the attack, but the only way to operate this is with the Keys of Marinus. Hence the title, I guess. Now, of course, these keys are spread out over various locations. There is Guy Has, and he asked the Doctor, because he sent other people but they didn't come back, to help him find the Keys of Marinus to get this machine operating again. Of course, the Vord don't want that. The Vord, they want, they can't have this, by the way. Of course, that with being said, the Vord in the story, I will say, are, yes, underused. And, I would like more of the Vord. They're only in, a little bit. I want to see more. Luckily, there's an audio. I know I keep mentioning those Big Finish. Domain of the Vord, which, if I remember, I liked it. I have to re-listen to that one now that I'm thinking about it. So, of course, the Doctor and his traveling companions are sent away to get the remaining Keys of Marinus. Now, this is where the story is very interesting, how each of the missions to get the keys presents itself in a very unique landscape. And that's what really made this story so interesting to me. I was like, ooh, where are we going next? And what's happening? It made each story unique. And it made it so where each finding the keys wasn't the same, which I felt would be it. And now that I'm thinking about it, this story is basically like the Key of Time, but instead of 6, like 4-part and 1 6-part story, it's basically 1 6-part story instead of that. So basically, it's kind of like the Key of Time. I notice things way too often when I do reviews. Just talk about the first environment they go to, which is kind of this like peaceful place, really. everything seems kind of right, okay. People are very friendly. They offer things, they give you things. But, of course, it has turned out that things are not what they seem. Because they put something on, like, the head of the people to control the population, but Barbara kind of falls off and she wakes up, so she doesn't get all that. So when she wakes up in the morning, she sees everything. And she's like, what do you mean you can't see this? What's happening? She's very perplexed by what's going on, how her friends, her traveling companions, are not seeing this. Even the doctor is blind to what's going on. She sees stuff that they can't. So right on that fact, it was presented itself as a very kind of creepy mind control episode, and I really enjoyed it, especially how it was kind of Barbara's turn to shine. It was kind of cool to get Barbara to see, like, she's trying to defend it, she has to save everything and stop the creatures. So of course they do stop the creatures and they get the first key. So they get the first key. Now they of course meet one of the inhabitants of that world. I think, yeah, they meet a couple of the inhabitants on the world, 2 of them, and they join them on their next adventure. Now, what happens here is a very unique thing, is how they split up. So the doctor goes somewhere, and all 4 of them go, all 5 of them, sorry, go to another world, and the doctor goes on his own. So the doctor's split away from the group. So, in the next story, it's a jungle kind of world with creepy plants that attack you. That was fun. Now, of course, when you have the core 5, it becomes 2. Okay? So what happens is, basically the crew, Barbara gets kind of transported away. She kind of investigates on her own when the other people are kind of looking around, and she gets trapped. They don't know where she is, and they think they found the key, but it isn't the key, because it's a fake key, and the real key is still out there. Now, of course, what happens is they've decided that the three of them, the two people they found from the second episode, and Susan go off to find the next key, and Ian is going to try to save Barbara from wherever she is. Of course, when he goes over there, they meet, they get trapped, they find traps, and then they meet another mysterious old man who is protecting the key. He doesn't quite believe them yet, and of course all that starts. Now, the end of this episode, I will tell you, is really creepy. The plants are attacking them. It's all coming at them. It was pretty cool. It was really cool. But of course, they know, the old man gave them a hint. They first thought it was the safe. It turned out nope. But then they learned it's the chemicals. They get the key, and they go to the next world. The next world they go to, which is World 3, to get the third key, is probably an episode I'm basically going to call Cabin Nightmare, is what it feels like. You get the icy environment, a creepy man in a cabin, all their stuff being taken, and a creepy ice world. Which in a way reminds me of the darker version of Monsters, Inc. Never mind, I don't know why I made that comparison, but, when they get sent to the Himalayas. At least that was friendlier and they got snow cones. In this one, they basically almost, they get almost frozen to death. More violent in this one. So, this story is probably one of my favorites for some reason. And I think I know why. So when they go to the cave, they have these 4 people, and they're guarding the block of ice. And, they're supposed to be statues. But you can see that they're moving. So that predicted that, yeah, these statues are going to come alive and attack them. And I laughed how it kind of, in a way, kind of, you can catch it, and I like that. It's just fun when you can kind of catch those things in Doctor Who. Now, of course, this planet, they, of course, stop the crazy man in the cabin. They get the key, and they go to the cabin episode. It shows why you should never get separated, I guess. You always want to be in a group. And I kind of liked how the caveman kind of tricks them. The cabin man kind of tricks them, and he's very tricking, and he just wants to get their stuff so he can sell it. It's kind of what the cabin man is, and he just does it in his own creepy way. But let's go to the next world they go to. To get the 4th key. Now, this was, of course, the cliffhanger, and it was very unique how you see the key just there. You have Ian, none of the other ones, and he slowly walks up and gets bashed. Someone takes the key. Cliffhanger. That would have been an awesome cliffhanger, by the way. That one was like, ooh, I want more! I want more! So, of course, the next episode and a half becomes like a murder mystery type of story where the Doctor and his group have to save Ian from being killed. And I enjoy this one because the Doctor is going to be his, like, lawyer, and they basically kind of solve who really done it, who wants the key, who knows about it. Of course they do save Ian, because of course they're going to save Ian. He's in the next story. They can't just get rid of him that easily, right? You know that. And they get the key. Now, I will say this is the part of the story, I don't know why I didn't enjoy this little chunk of the story. Out of the whole 6 parts, this episode and a half was the part I didn't enjoy the most. I think it's because the whole murder mystery thing and the Doctor trying to solve the case and all that. It felt different. It felt a little too different from what was happening. But then once I thought about it a little bit more, it kind of made sense because each of the various worlds presents itself in like a different, unique landscape. You get like the plant world, you get the mind control world, you get the cabin world, and now you get this like futuristic world crime mystery story. And that really is what I really think I like about the Keys of Marinus, is how it's not the same setting. It is all these various different landscapes, much like the Key of Time. And I just like this. I like seeing all these new sets. It's not the same set, not the same set of characters, and it's a very experimental story for Doctor Who, especially at story number 5, because it's so unique from any of the Hartnell ones. And this one, to me, didn't feel like it dragged at all. And I think that's the biggest pro of the story, because sometimes with William Hartnell stories, for me, they drag a little too much, especially the 6-parters. But this one, having these unique landscapes, and the Doctor and his gang having the mission to get all the keys, was amazing. I like this story. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. So, of course, the story ends. They get the key from the thing. They save, of course, Ian. And they go back to the place. But, of course, the Void are there, getting closer, and they want that key. They need the last key because they've already kidnapped and got all of the ones because they were disguised as the old man, which I thought was kind of clever. They're kind of trying to hide the fact that I'm just the old man hiding myself. The old mysterious man. First get the key. They get all of them because Ian gives it to them, which I was like, no, Ian, don't give the key. But it's discovered, remember that fake key? Yeah, he gave them the fake key. So, of course, that's the thing. I love when they introduce something in a previous episode that you just don't think much about, and they bring it back. That's how they stop the creature. And the traveling companions go on their way to the next adventure. So overall, what did I think of the Keys of Marinus? It's very enjoyable. I would really recommend anyone who has not watched the story, watch it. Because you're at least going to get some very fun and unique story plots. And you gotta see the Doctor having to solve mysteries. You see all his crew having to solve the puzzles, figure out things. And you get to see companions solving the situations out without the Doctor. And I think that's my favorite part of the story. You get to see them losing that element of the Doctor and having to figure out things. So overall, a great story. And I don't see this one. I don't really remember ever wanting to watch this one. So that is it for tonight, the review of the Keys of Marinus, which is also the very first classic review of 2017. It feels so good to do classic reviews again. We'll probably be doing these every month again until, we forget to do them for a few months and then bring them back, 8 months later. I don't know. But we'll see you guys in the next one. And if you like this video, click the button that kind of looks like this. And if you've seen this story, tell me your guys' thoughts in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.